What is going on? Welcome to Rouge Reviews, where we keep it for real, for real. I am Brute, okay, the Culture Black Kid, and I am joined once again by, please
D-
introduce yourself.
Dan Thomas here, and I'm happy to be here. Very excited to talk about this new project that's just come out recently. And of course, this project that we're working with here is.
The Rions, everything, every single day. The debut album from Northern Beaches, indie rock band, and former Unearthed High winners back in 2021. Yeah, long time coming for fans of the Ryans. So, without any further ado, let us get into our initial thoughts. Dan.
All right. I'm going to start a little bit earlier than just the initial thoughts of the
Mhm.
album here for a second. I'm going to talk about the singles that came out before that. Um, when those first couple of singles started to come out, I was kind of taking them on as they were and going, yeah, these are okay songs, but I was starting to get this growing concern that this was not going to be a substantial
Mhm.
first album. I was starting to have a couple of concerns. So, like, I think the first three tracks, I was like, okay, I think I've figured out what the style of this is. I'm worried that that's going to be the style the whole way through. I was kind of prepared for this to be an album that I was feeling pretty iffy on, but fortunately, it is far more than that. This whole project, in its entirety, is a little bit richer than that, and yeah, it's got a bit more going on, and I'm very excited to talk a little bit about that.
For sure, for sure. And I wasn't there when the singles came on, apart from maybe what came across my Triple J desk when I was on late nights or something like that. But on the surface, if I wasn't properly listening, sounds like a pretty standard indie rock listen. I think there's some catchy moments here and some cool topics there. But like I said, very initial, very surface level listen. Before we get into any specifics and pros and cons, did want to say that shout out to you, Dan, and your interview for Mumba on this, which gave me a lot of good context for the album as a whole. Make sure you go check it out on the Substack now. And yeah, like I said, without any further ado, let's get into some of the pros of this album. Dan.
All right. I feel like for me, there's some more pros than there are cons on this thing. I think having, yeah, that time to kind of understand the context really helps with this album. There's a lot that they're trying to do on it. There's a lot that they're putting forward. There's a lot of messaging that is around this album in a whole lot of different topics. And I think they have this real desire to make that known. And I think they do that through the lyricism quite well. Um, but yeah, I think I want to start there. I want to start with the earnest lyrics. I found a lot of the lyrics on this album to be quite direct, quite honest. I think of a song like Welcome to the Conversation to start that one off as like, it's very clear what that one's about. Like, you can just listen to the lyrics and go, yeah, I get what you're trying to say here. Sort of there's no sort of subtext or anything like that to it beyond like you listen to it and you know what it's about. And I think that's really good sometimes.
Yeah.
It's direct, it's a bit of a gut punch, and I think that's a great thing. Uh, in a similar sort of setting, I think uh, a track like, uh, let's say Scumbag, I think does that as well. It's a little bit less on the direct route, but it is like very earnest and very clearly plays this, creates this kind of vision of a character being said scumbag. I think that just like puts it right here for everyone to see. It doesn't shy away from it, and I think that it's better off for not shying away from it.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's starting off the pros for me. But how about you?
Yeah, no. Like I said, as I delved more into the project, yeah, I do think that each song stands alone topically nicely. It's interesting that, you came into this with your initial thoughts or your pre-initial thoughts, with the singles being like, "Ooh, I'm not sure," or like, I feel like I've got this project uh figured out off the rip. But I do think that each of the songs, even though there's a whole bunch of relationship tracks or yeah, relationship themed tracks. There's a whole bunch of more personal tracks that each song still stands alone in their own pockets. And I do like the balance of serious topics with a bit more wholesome or like reflective tracks as well. It does add a nice balance to which again I'll also get into more specifics with songs. Let's start with I'll start at the top. I'll start at the top, which are the first two tracks. Maybe I'm just a freak, and tonight's entertainment, which I think are strong, very strong starts, and so melodically catchy. Yeah, the writing about from the opening track, not wanting to be with someone because they don't accept you for you, relatable topic, love that. And then tonight's entertainment, gratitude to be able to do what they do. And again, we're talking off camera about how personable they are when you get them in more personal situations with fans. A la your experience watching them at Crowbar. Um, so yeah, I think those are two very strong openers. Oh, and final thing, the strings to open off tonight's entertainment felt very Jerome Blase living room
Ooh, ooh, yeah.
in its production, which I enjoyed.
I
But
like that shout. Um, yeah, I thought just kind of off the back of that, tonight's entertainment, like it's just, yeah, very clearly this song about being so grateful. It's got the repeated line, I wouldn't change a thing if I could. Like it's, yeah, so clear what they're trying to say. And I think that's going to really resonate with the fans of that track. And I think that's a great thing. It was for anyone that's catching the live shows, that was the song that they closed out with. They usually close out with Minivan. They closed out with Tonight's Entertainment, and I think it's exactly that. It's saying, "Hey, here's a room of a couple thousand people.
Mhm.
We are so grateful for what you do." That's just how it came across, and that's how the song comes across, and yeah, it's just so honest and it's so um yeah, heartfelt, and I really really liked that.
no, for sure, for sure.
Uh,
And hopefully, sorry, before you jump in, hopefully I'll have the review. Hopefully it's up by the time that this review comes out. Dan's review of the Rions tour that they are on right now. Make sure you go check that out also on the Substack. All right, Dan.
Okay, you mentioned just before some of the like the variety in this album. Like you've got some of those sort of deeper, more heartfelt tracks, and then you got some that are a little bit on the brighter side. And I wanted to talk about a couple on the brighter side.
Mhm,
And the ones that I've picked out here, there's three that come to mind, and that's Art My Mother Likes,
mhm,
that's Maybe It's Everything, and that's Lobby Calls as well. I wanted to talk about art and lobby calls in particular. Um, the art my mother likes, I just think the production on that is like really pleasant and really enjoyable.
mhm,
It's just a nice change of pace. Like it comes after Shut You Out, which is a little bit more,
mhm,
um, I don't know, moodier, I guess is the word I would use on that song. A little bit more dramatic if you kind of catch that.
mhm,
But yeah, it's just got these like staccato keys, and then it's got like this harpsichord going in the background. It's very, as they discussed in the interview, it's very Beatles toned, and it's like that's so obvious in when you listen to it, I think.
okay,
And it's just yeah, it's just a really playful song. They've mentioned that that's like not one that they've got been getting as much people saying, "Oh yeah, that's my favorite song," but they like um, I still think it's like a great song, and it is yeah just very enjoyable. In a similar way, Lobby Calls, like that song, just feels like a rom-com. It feels like yeah, it's just this great like I don't know part of the Sunset series of movies, or yeah, something that you would have watched in the 90s, where it's like okay, there's this receptionist, there's this clerk at the desk, and I'm madly in love with it. Like that's just so fun, and it has that layering of the harmonies and everything like that.
mhm,
Um, like yeah, and it just adds this bit of variety to this album that was something that I was just concerned wasn't gonna be there. I didn't know it was gonna look like this prior to the album coming out, but it's just yeah, this really nice change of pace.
For
It's
sure.
just yeah, it just contrasts really nicely. Just keeps that runtime going.
100%, 100%. And yeah, Lobby Calls was also a standout for me. Maybe not the rom-coms, but as a fan of like 90s, 2000s sitcoms, like I think it definitely also fits in that
True, yeah.
I can picture something from like a Friends or like a How I Met Your Mother or something along those lines, where again it's something that cheesy but still super fun, nostalgic vibe that yeah, I love that they brought into that. And the chorus is really catchy too. I really enjoy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, to switch it back to more serious vibes, I do want to bring up Oh How Hard It Is to Be 20, which I believe is an interlude, even though it doesn't say
Hmm.
on the track list, or at least on Apple Music it doesn't. Which I think is probably, apart from Tonight's Entertainment, my other favorite track on the album, and it really hits hard. I'm sure I relate to it. I'm sure you can relate to it as well, as individuals in our 20s, and I think they encompassed that period really really well, with just the spectrum of life events that an individual in their 20s can go through, from being broke to being married and having kids to being, having family, losing family. It's literally a spin the wheel, anything can happen type period in your life.
Yeah.
And like me and you, for those who don't know, we went to the same high school, and we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary. And I don't know about you, but I am so curious to see where people are at. And like,
It's almost like the human embodiment of this song, honestly,
mhm,
where it's like, okay, which parts of which lines have people lived?
yeah,
And there will be people that lived a lot of these lines because like there is so much in this song that I think is designed to it doesn't like it's not designed to like please everybody. It's not like just this generic broad song. It's very specific in a lot of different things. And
yeah,
I think that it's just gonna resonate and it's gonna connect with whatever it is that that person
mhm,
gets out of the song. And
mhm,
you might get something completely different to me out of it. Or there might be a line that, like, maybe you've forgotten about that really connects to me, or vice versa.
yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a lot to take out of that song. I had that as one of my pros as well.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure. And my final pro before I let you cook, if you got any others, is Cry, which I won't spend too long on this, but I think it's just an important combo song to have. You touched on it really well, and they touched on it really well in the interview. But yeah, just pretty much shout out to to the band for again calling out whack behavior of a lot of men, and yeah, it's just a very touching, and well needed song, especially in times like this.
Yes, I have a note here that I haven't elaborated on it, so I'm just going to try and elaborate a little bit off the dome. But it just says, how good is it to hear a band create a track like Cry?
Yeah.
Especially a band of like four young males, and a band that there's probably a lot of young males who listen to the band as well. I mean, I saw them all at the concert. They're all out there. Being in my late 20s makes me one of the oldest people in that crowd, it felt like. But like, it's I just think it's so needed, and it's like it's this evergreen topic. It's something that just matters all of the time, and I just think that having a band call it out is like a really important thing. And I just think that like it's present. Like it's a topic and it's a something that matters that is everywhere. It's part of people's lives. People know people or people know people who know people. Like it's just this like everything's one or two steps away. It's not something that you can ignore or not something that you can be completely unaware of.
Mm,
And for the band to make it like to make people completely aware about it and say, hey, this is like we've got to be better. I think that's just so important. And yeah, I just think it's so good to have an album like this on, um, or a song like this
yeah.
on an album.
Yeah.
Um, when I was a little bit kind of so-so about what this album was gonna be, it was kind of when those first three tracks were coming out. This one is kind of tonally similar to that one,
Mhm.
But just like, yeah, no, this one just felt like it had something really, really, really important to say. So yeah, shout out Cry. That's definitely another one of my pros as well.
Sure, sure. I'm out of pros, but do you have any else? Any more?
I'll I'll shout out a couple of other things on this album. So I got a few more pros just to finish it off with this section.
Mhm.
Um, some of the tracks that really hit for me were the faster tracks. That's kind of just me as a person. I love those like hard-hitting fast tracks. I already mentioned Welcome to the Conversation in terms of its lyrics, but I just think its delivery is really good as well.
Mhm.
Again, they opened the show with that, so I think like they knew as well that that's just a hit and
Mhm.
it just works really well.
Mhm.
In a similar sense, Scumbag as well. That's just got that same kind of high energy to it. And especially like as soon as that chorus breaks on that song, and then there's just like the snare drum just going crazy,
Yeah.
and just everything just gets really big all of a sudden. Like that's just a great like dynamic shift in that song. Um, I let's see, what else do I like about this? I do like how earnest the lyrics are. I think that for the most part on this album, that's a good thing. And I do think it lands in most cases. Um, but yeah, I'm just trying to look at the other songs that I haven't shouted out yet. But um, yeah, that's most of it. Oh, How Hard It Is to Be 20 took a little bit to grow on me. It wasn't there to begin with, but now I'm like, yeah, this is actually like this is a really good like centerpiece for the album.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, no, I might leave the pros there. I think that I've said what I want to say about what I like about this album.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay. Well, with pros come some cons. I'll kick it off. Because I don't really have a con, but it's kind of like a umbrella kind of non-con. So I wrote not really con, but I do have my select songs that I resonate with. Night's Entertainment, 20, Lowy Calls, and the rest are kind of like, or there's a whole bunch of like, yeah, cool, but I'm not really going out of my way. And I feel like it's interesting because a lot of the topics that I didn't gravitate towards out of the opening track, maybe I'm just a freak, or lobby calls, are in that relationship theme. And it's not like I have anything against the songs because they're all great. I've not like every single song on this album is a really good song. There's no bad songs on this album. But I don't know, I just found myself enjoying the songs that weren't really topically about romance outside of the aforementioned two that I just said. Like I said, Tonight's Entertainment, How Does Be 20, Cry. Yeah, so yeah, I just didn't find myself gravitating towards as many of the romantic tracks personally,
Yeah,
but doesn't mean that I don't like them.
that's yeah, that's fair enough. Um, I'm kind of looking through, yeah, which ones are the romantic tracks on the track list at the moment, and like, sort of, yeah, I can see the kind of through line with that,
Mhm.
based on like your choices, and even kind of considering some of my own choices here. I think as far as the relationship tracks go, Scumbag, I've mentioned it like three times now, but like, there's just something about how that one was delivered that really hits with me.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think I can accept that idea that the non-relationshipy ones are, yeah, kind of some of the ones that connect or resonate a little bit better. Uh, Kind of like a larger scale thing of what we're talking about how hard it is to be 20. Like everyone's finding what is for them on that track. And I think in the album as a whole, that sort of rings true as well, where you're kind of finding what you connect to in that album. Whereas, I don't know, maybe someone going through maybe like the start, like the blooming start of a new relationship or the kind of rocky ending to one, maybe taking something else out of this album that maybe you or I aren't taking out.
Sure.
Maybe there's something to that one, perhaps. Um, I kind of want to talk about the tonal similarity on the album in this section here. I did raise my concerns right at the start with being worried that there was going to be 13 tracks that sounded exactly the same. Fortunately, that's not the case, but I do think there is a little bit more of an abundance of like kind of slower, moodier um, songs on there.
Mhm.
Um, that just yeah don't hit as much as other ones. I think like uh Shut You Out has a good chorus, but it's not my favorite on the album. It's not my favorite of the singles.
Mhm.
Um and yeah, there's a couple that didn't hit quite as hard. So Married to the Job is yeah, one that I like the lyrics of when I read them, but when I'm listening to them, I like it just hasn't it just bounced off me a little bit. Um But yeah, so that similarity and that kind of vibe is there through the album, with some tracks being a little bit on the weaker side compared to others. But I also agree, like, I don't think there's any bad tracks on here. I wouldn't say any of the songs are bad songs. I think, like, Oh, How Hard It Is to Be 20, I said I warmed up to that one. I have a feeling that after a few weeks, perhaps, or a few listens even, maybe I have a different opinion on some of the other songs. Maybe they start to yeah, really warm up for me.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, yeah, any other cons for you?
No, I think that was pretty much it. So yeah, let's get into our overall rating. Are we here for this? Depends on the day, feeling iffy about it. Dan, yeah, how you feeling?
Look, I'm here for this. I really liked this album. It's yeah, just a great album to listen to and re-listen to. There's so much to pick out of this. Like, you can go and you can admire the lyrics, you can admire like the vocal performance or the production of it. Like, I just think there's a lot here, and it's not a boring album. Like, there's a lot to enjoy. I think the variety that we get in some of the songs really helps, and I think that yeah, just makes it listenable, makes it really enjoyable. And yeah, I think this is the Ryans at their best. I think that um, after the Minivan EP and the Happiness EP, I think this is like they're really starting to hone their craft and they've found a sound that works for them. Um, so yeah, no, I'm definitely here for this. What about you?
Yeah, I'm here depends, but this did make me a lot more of a fan of the Ryans. Again, continued my journey going into indie rock, any adjacent genres of music from this year, you know. And yeah, I could say that this is probably one of my favorite releases in that style. I'd say that the maybe the Spacey Jane is only is got to beat out. Um, but yeah, this is a strong contender for um one of my favorite like rock, at least just rock broad albums
Yeah,
of the year for sure. And like I said, I'm a fan. I really like the Ryans as individuals as well from again your interview and just watching interviews and seeing them perform the videos and all that stuff. So um yeah, they just seem like really great guys. And again, I'm tapped in. I'm very
I
excited.
think I think that they're like I think that making an album is something that was really, really important to them. They talked about that in the interview. There's other places out there where they've talked about like the idea from being young teenagers to going 9 years later, like they've been dreaming of this moment. So it's really, really great to see that they really poured their heart and soul into it and they've made something that they should be proud of. This wasn't just, oh, let's put some tracks together and ship it out the door. This was like, hey, no, this is like a pivotal moment, and I think, yeah, I really admire what they did on it.
Agreed. 100% agreed. But do you agree? Are you here for this? Depends on the day you're feeling iffy about it. Let us know. Yes, the Ryans, everything, every single day out right now. And you just heard our review of it here on Rouge Reviews. It is myself, it is Dan. Dan, where can the people find you at?
So if you want to read a little bit more of my writing, aside from Mumba, you can check it out at Check Your Pulse on Substack or Check Your Pulse Mag on Instagram.
Nice. Amazing. Once again, I am again, Culture Black Kid here with Dan, Rouge Reviews, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
See ya.